Okay, it's time to get silly. Organizing my list of Fancrushes as their D&D classes. I am going to make a distinction here between player and character. Player meaning what they would build to play the game versus character meaning what class or subclass best matches their actual abilities. That is very often not going to be the same thing. If I could actually do magic in real life, why would I want to play a guy who can do magic? I can do that already. One really good example of this is Waluigi, who would create the edgiest Gloomstalker Ranger and or Soul Knife Rogue known to man, and then proceed to never roll above a 4. In real life, though, he's just a half-elf fighter. Like, he's got the soldier background, proficiency in land vehicles and athletics. That's all I got. He's maybe a College of Whispers bard, but he's not good. The master would absolutely try to coffee lock you and then refuse to play if you tell him no. As a real life artificer, he's just mad that he can't actually be as powerful as he feels. Very much a problem player. Spock is going to min-max the absolute bazoinkers out of his dwarven battlemaster, but also make some very well thought out decisions about, yes, what his character would do without being a problem about it. While he is a bit of a rules lawyer, you can trust him never to metagame. The distinction between himself and the character is never unclear, which is why what my character would do actually kind of works for him. He's also a walking spell encyclopedia, which is really handy to have at the table if you don't want to have a bajillion tabs up on Wikidot. His IRL class, though, I have no idea. There's nothing that maps onto Star Trek. Like, is he a wizard because he has high intelligence? Is he an artificer? He's not that techie, but I don't know. Sephiroth is obviously a Sword Pal, either Divine Soul or Aberrant Soul, and then his Paladin subclass is Vengeance. What else would it be? I think he would play a Halfling or a Harengon purely for the busted racial abilities, and then just pick whatever Rogue or Monk subclass that RPG bot says is best. The Phantom of the Opera, ever the drama queen, is going to invent some kind of horrific magical disability, and put an unchristian amount of time into building a complicated random table of increasingly horrific debuffs to put on himself. Because that's fun. The Martian Manhunter is just learning how to play the game, and he is having a great time. He loves this game already. He is very content with his unkillable Goliath Barbarian, extremely lucky stats, and impromptu animal companion that he definitely stole from a shopkeeper. Ganondorf's tricky because he is at once capable of terrific acts of magical catastrophe and jacked to heckity heck, which is hard to achieve in vanilla D&D. Paladin or Eldritch Knight feels correct, but they're only half-casters, and half-casters don't lift entire castles into the air out of sheer spite. The best thing I can think of is either some kind of melee sorcerer build that I don't know about, or a Hexblade Warlock who doesn't even need to use Charisma to hit because he rolled like a god in his stats. In-game though, he'd play a full wizard and then get really mad every time he dies. Nox is easy, that's a max level chronomancy wizard. In-game, he'd probably pick a paladin because he wants to be able to do everything. Loki, arcane trickster, no surprises here. Either that or he is the worst kind of Nope, that's Hisoka. You cannot get worse than Hisoka. And then his IRL class is probably some rogue monk multi-class that he thought would be busted, but that's because he can't read. Now, every party has the guy who starts the game with an absolute meme of a character, like a fever dream on a character sheet, and then winds up having the most heart-rendingly cathartic story arc conceivable by human souls. You're all wondering who out of all these nightmare men that guy is, and I'm here to tell you, it's Kenobi. It's Kenobi. Come on, you're not surprised. Who else would it be? No one else on my list has both the gravitas and the sense of humor to pull that off. They all have one or the other. They're all stuck up their own butts, take everything too seriously, especially themselves, or they've had their sense of humor surgically removed and replaced with sarcasm. Or they just think skinning people is funny. It's not. Artemis Fowl would start with some basic sorcery that he doesn't put any effort into playing because he thinks this game is childish, escapism, and overall just beneath him. Then by the end of the campaign, he is holding back a vicious ugly cry as Kenobi's sentient door with a Warlock multi-class finally achieves its dream of ascending to Valhalla to be reunited with its wife and children. Yone is a paladin both in-game and real life, a la Shiro, and he gets way too butthurt about even a sniff of murder hobo behavior from the party, like does not tolerate any of it. You would think this would be a valuable addition to a party to keep them on track, until they don't want to play anymore. Silco, rogue, obviously, probably another mastermind. He's probably gonna play a rogue as well, just a different subclass, swashbuckler or phantom. And he is a surprisingly good role player for someone who, like Artemis, looks for all intents and purposes like he doesn't want to be here. You never see him taking notes, but he remembers every NPC character's names and always knows exactly what quest we're on, and remembers lore drops that you don't remember giving. Grumble is very obviously a Beastmaster Ranger, no surprises there. As a player, he strikes me as like a Long Death Monk, or maybe a Draconic Sorcerer. something about having innate power rather than having to manipulate living creatures to get it for him. If he does play a draconic sorcerer, though, he is in for a very rude awakening about how draconic sorcerers happen. Yeah. Aizawa knows a lot about the game, has been playing since he was a teenager, and you can tell because he's rocking a Twilight Cleric with like 18 feats. But he is also burnt the heck out and is only actively playing like 10 to 15% of the time. He'll wake up just long enough to pop a heal to keep the party from suffering a TPK and then go back to napping or doom scrolling until an NPC shows up that he can flirt with. Szeth's Stormlight abilities, and really just all of the Stormlight archives, are worthy of their own homebrew class. As is, the closest fit is some kind of paladin. It's got damage, it's got healing, it's got some limited spellcasting, and hey, he even has an oath, even if he did swear it to a rock. His character is a walking trauma dump, which somehow everybody but him can see. Like, he made a Tiefling Warlock, dude. Like, that should be obvious. You practically walked out a Hot Topic. Strickler would actually go for Cleric, I think, and one of the more OP domains, like Trickster or Life. But even if he does pick Life domain, and even if he does write down Lawful Good on his character sheet, he is still going to be the scummiest player that the DM will allow him to get away with. Not the party, the DM. That's a very important distinction. He is absolutely the type of cleric to withhold heals from party members, either because he doesn't like them or there's something that he wants to get out of them in game. And you know he's gonna peg deception, because nothing makes him happier than the entire table knowing that he's about to do something terrible, but they can't do anything about it for fear of getting a metagame red card from the DM. Kick him out, dog. And then you've got Darly Boxman, who is as goo warlock as goo warlocks can get, and you can tell because he does not comprehend and did not ask for his abilities. If he were actually to play D&D, he'd probably want to play a gnome, a druid, a circle of the shepherd, so he can have a lot of fuzzy friends and feel grounded with himself and his environment and the beings around him. This one really needs the escapism, guys. And your Lathotep is... who else? The DM. Not only the DM, but the DM who is going to put Darly Boxman straight back into inpatient care by starting the campaign as an innocuous series of quests before peeling back, layer by layer, a web of eldritch conspiracy that makes Bloodborne look like a Roald Dahl novel. It couldn't be me, my players are happy. I only got through about half the list here because, contrary to popular belief, I do have a life beyond talking really fast about things that I am the only person who thinks about. So if you want to see the whole cast of fictional men that I have lost sleep over, keep watching my videos and eventually you'll have the whole picture. It will only get worse from here. Or better? It depends on how medicated you are. I don't know if I should do that. We'll see how this goes. Bye, I'm weird! Sure.